All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night. Whenever I do a show at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time, I'm never sure who's going to come in to the show. So welcome, Alex Glassy here. Really pleased to be able to show you around what face-to-face broadcasting was all about. And just as we're getting going, you'll see the chat on the right-hand side over there. Why don't you take a minute now just to find that and just type in your first name and the city and the country where you're from. It's always interesting to see where we are. Last time we did this, we had Finland and Australia. We had New York, we had Winnipeg, Canada. We had another country that was quite far away. Anyway, we're all over the place. So, hey, Chris in the Philippines. It's good to see you. Thanks a lot. Come on, don't be shy. Dan in Victoria. So, my neighbor almost. Welcome, Dan. Anyway, let me get into this. This is going to take, hey, Gage. So this is going to take about, well, listen, it's going to take about 15 to 30 minutes, but I'm happy to wait around a little longer. This is new, cool stuff. And this is exactly what it's all about. This is the ability to interact in real time with up to 1 million people, but face to face. That's what it's all about. And you'll see that in just a minute. I will bring some people, and you, if you want, into the show. And so you'll be able to see me do on-screen interviews with people from around the world, going out to an audience of 1 million people or more. So listen, I've been, last year, as many of you know, I started to do more and more online video stuff. So I was doing blogs, I was doing teaching, and then of course I do consulting, and so doing things one-on-one. Well, in my webinars, in my one-on-one, of course, you can use Skype and you can get this great sense, of connection with the person that you're dealing with. Then in my teaching, now I'm in a class of 30 or 40 or 50, and they're all over the place, and the whole model starts to break down. The technology allows me to kind of talk to them, but it really doesn't facilitate the talking back. And in a classroom, that's important. I want to have people talking with me and asking questions and debating whatever the issue is. I teach live, and when I do that, I have a great time. My preferred way of doing things. And then, of course, when I do webinars and I've got 300, 500, 1,000 people, the ability to communicate just goes way down. So why do I prefer live? Well, it turns out that we're absolutely hardwired to do live, right? To connect with people live. There's a great book, The Storytelling Animal. I really encourage you to read it if you're interested in all about this. And it just tells us that just like we'll come back to that. Just like in the original days when we're sitting around a campfire and we're talking to people and we're seeing their responses and we're hearing what they have to say, we are biologically, neurologically wired to do this. So what I want to do today is show you a different way of doing things, and I'm going to be showing you the platforms while we're doing that. And one of the first things I want to show you is that we can bring in, as you can already see, we can bring in slides, and I can just by clicking a button, I can show you a slide, and then we can move from one slide into another slide. And here's the very first slide I want to talk about, and that is online interaction disappears as your audience grows. So let's go up here and we'll get on to the next slide. And I'll try to speed this up and keep it interesting for you. So as you can see here, if the audience size is very small, we're typically going to have the best quality of interaction. So as I mentioned already, if you're using Skype or if you're using FaceTime or Duo, something like that. I mean, FaceTime's awesome. You get two people, you're talking to them, you're almost right there. You can almost reach through the phone, high quality, everything's working real well. But then as you start to get larger and larger audience, even Skype, we tried a Skype call yesterday with 3 people, and it was awful. And as you get more and more people, as you get into trying webinar software, that type of thing, your ability as a presenter to connect with your audience literally disappears. It becomes me staring at a camera, maybe with a slide deck, and yeah, people are hearing me and seeing me, but I can't hear or see them at all. My experience, I'm totally cut off from my audience, and this gets worse the larger the audiences get. So as you get into Periscope and Twitch and YouTube Live, there are huge lags and delays. So when I'm speaking using YouTube Live, there's at least an 8 to 12 second delay. And the larger the audience is, it can get to be 30 seconds or a minute or more. So that whatever the audience is seeing, I'm a minute in the future. They're seeing what I've done a minute ago. So even if there is a live chat, which there is, people are chatting about things that I did, the presenter did a minute ago, right? A minute in the past for them. And then you get up to very, very large audiences like TV, where you can absolutely deliver something to millions of people, but you cannot talk to them. If you're in an audience and you're watching TV, no one's going to talk back, no matter how hard you yell at the screen. Like, no one's going to talk back. But what we want to do with face-to-face broadcasting is we wanted to do this. We wanted to have the best ability to have our audience interface with us, talk to us, see us, me see them, right? Even while we had an audience of 1 million people. And that's what we've been able to do here. So when we first started face-to-face, we sat down and we talked about, if you've seen my manifesto blog of today, we started down talking about, we want to improve communication amongst people all over the world. We want to make sure that anyone who wants to use this can. So it's super simple to use and it's free to use. And at the same time, we want people to be able to use this to economically support themselves. So if they want to do that, if they want to teach online, if they want to sell products online, whatever they want to do, if they can get if their audience wants to pay them something, we want to support that, right? And so that's what face-to-face is. Here's an artist's rendition of what it does. It's you're seeing this. You're seeing me live in this center place right here. Now what I want to do is I want to start to get some of you to come in and talk to me. So you'll see a join broadcast button that's at the bottom of your screen right there, I think. And so in order for you to come and talk to me, click on that. It'll take a second or two. It'll check your cameras. It'll check your mics. I know I got a couple of guys out there that they can come in. If you're using whatever browser you're using, will ask for permission to be able to use your camera and your mic. And we got no volunteers yet. Oh, we got a volunteer. All right. So Ricky, where are you from? Let's bring Ricky on.
Hi there, Alex. Dunedin, New Zealand.
Dunedin, New Zealand. Man, you look even better on camera as you do in person. You look awesome.
Thanks for that. He's away in Invercargill, but he asked me to pass on his best wishes.
Oh, good. Well, listen, thanks, and thanks for choosing to pop in there. So now you saw this a few months ago, didn't you, Ricky?
Yeah. It's in stages. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So you saw this. So I just want to ask you. So when I brought you in, what was your experience? Because you clicked on join the broadcast. And then
yep.
And then I dragged you in, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. But what was your experience of that?
I remember as a kid learning about TV via the Brady Bunch, and I can still remember seeing all these images that popped up all over the screen, like all the characters and the lead of that. So, but the real time connection, the high definition visibility, and the removal of that awkwardness when you're trying to contact people face to face with other lag systems just disappeared. It was great.
Wow, it's awesome. It's awesome. I'd love to get somebody else in here as well. And I know Dan and Gage are out there, and you're brave guys. One of you can come in, and I know Tom, you're down in Joshua Tree. So I know my friend Tom in Texas. If you're out there, Tom, hit that join broadcast button. But what do you do? What kind of camera are you using, Ricky? Because you look awesome.
This is just a MacBook Pro.
That's it?
Yep, that's it.
That's absolutely brilliant. Well, okay, we got a couple other people. So what I'm going to do now, just so everyone knows, I'm just going to on the bottom of my screen, below Ricky and I've got what we call a guest queue. And so when people click the join broadcast button, they show up there, and then all I have to do is literally click and drag and drop. So I'm going to drag in Dan. So Dan, you're about to come on. And then what ends up happening is that there's a second there that the system automatically makes space for Dan, brings him in. Dan and Ricky, I think you guys have talked to each other.
We have.
We have. Hi there. How's things, Dan?
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, same.
And let me bring in Gage while we're at it. And what I'll do then is I'm going to get out of the way. So
we're tucked away in our room right now. We're both hesitant to join just because we're redoing our flooring right